the 7th comeback this playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. Franchise record is 8, so they've done this before. Now they have 20 unique goal scorers. Only 18 guys get to play, so we got a couple extras chipping in there. It's just different where it doesn't have to be the big guys. Now they're there almost every night, but they're getting support from everybody else.
What was the stat you had? Florida Panthers after 2 periods under Paul Maurice in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
I believe it was 27 or 28-0 after 2 periods. 31-0 when leading after the first under Paul Maurice in the playoffs.
Crazy.
31-1.
31-1.
Not the case tonight. You mentioned the depth, the Kapanens, a couple assists in this one, Matthias Ekholm, Victor Arvidsson and whatnot. This team feels different, doesn't it? This time around, it just up and down the lineup. How much pressure does that take off the big boys like McDavid, like Draisaitl, who don't have to maybe step up in a big way? I know one of our talking points middle of the second period was, wow, Connor McDavid pretty quiet in this game. The other guys are doing some of that heavy lifting, and then that allows the big boys to step up when they need them most.
Yeah, and the way you think about the way this game played out, where it wasn't going great for Edmonton, but because the guys further down the lineup were playing well, Knoblauch could shuffle the lines up. You could pair up Draisaitl and McDavid like he did in the third and into overtime, because you knew Kapanen was having a game, you could put him on the second line. Because you knew Kane was having a game, you didn't have to have those guys together. And as the game wore on, it looked like Edmonton was fresher. Yep. Edmonton was quicker. Edmonton had more pace to their game, and that all speaks to the depth players coming through the way they have to for Edmonton to be successful.
And you just mentioned it, whenever this team in the past, and it wasn't that long ago, when they go nuclear option with McDavid and Draisaitl up on one line, when you watch it, when you consume the Edmonton Oilers hockey, you get out at the edge of your seat when that line's out there, and then when they're not, you're like, just don't get scored on. That's what it used to feel like. But in these moments, we saw some long shifts. We saw some minute 15, minute 20 shifts that the Florida Panthers are hemmed in their zone. Guys are buckled, trying to get off on long changes. That's the difference, and it's not when those guys are on the ice. To your point, I think that they wore down the Florida Panthers in this game.
They did, and they created the matchups that they wanted. Florida was forced to ice it. The fourth line for Florida barely got to play. This is a 4-line team, the Florida Panthers. They get contributions up and down. The top 3 lines get a lot of the attention, but their fourth line's always been a problem. They have been in the playoffs. They have 5 or 6 guys that can play on that fourth line, but they didn't get to play much tonight. In an 80-minute game, or almost 80-minute game, it started to show and it was ugly for stretches of that overtime period. Florida.
You think about the confidence that up and down the Oilers lineup, everyone will feel. This was not a game they won because, oh, McDavid was great. Draisaitl scored a couple. We didn't do anything, but we watched those guys be great. That wasn't tonight. This was everyone contributing. Everyone will feel a lot of confidence going into game 2.